Hi, this is Jessica with DVS Gaming. We're here at PAX West 2018. I am sitting with the man himself, Reid. He is the Behemoth designer for Dauntless. We just had a quick playthrough here in the booth at the show floor, and off the record, we got our asses kicked by one of the new Behemoths, Koshai. So we just have a couple questions for Reid. So with this new Behemoth, Koshai, what was your biggest inspiration, and what other Behemoths did you use as an inspiration for his design?
Well, Koshai's biggest inspiration was, really, he's part of the bigger package of the coming storm. So you might have noticed, Koshai has affected some of the other behemoths and some of the islands. So Koshai, he's been a bigger and wider reaching behemoth than anyone before him. So we wanted to make sure that, that influence was obvious, and also make sure that he had sort of elements to his combat that we could transfer to other behemoths. So that's something that we would like to bring to other encounters in the game, and Koshai was kind of trying our hand at that for the first time. So that's like the thorn-bound behemoths, and seeing like what sort of elements can we bring that are unique to one encounter that can give a different twist on all the rest, right? Another big part of his inspiration is something that players have been very eagerly awaiting, is the new Austrian repeaters. So Koshai has some mechanics that are unique to him that players are already fighting against with the melee weapons that are going to take on a bit of a different flavor once they have the repeaters in hand.
With the roadmap, with the dev roadmap, what are your plans as far as what do you think is going to be the biggest improvement for players that they're going to enjoy the most?
The biggest single one? That's hard to say. I mean, I definitely think the most anticipated right now is the repeaters, and we're really excited about them. They're being worked on, right now by everyone cranking away at home. But we have so much coming down the pipe right now. We're expanding our teams. The Behemoth team in particular, we're putting together larger teams so that we can start putting out Behemoths more often. We can get brand new unique guys like Koshai in the game more often, as well as getting different variants, stuff like Dyers and different elemental versions. So we want to give players just more puzzles to solve. Like, as a Behemoth designer, I look at each of these encounters as a puzzle of sorts, like a combat puzzle. So the more that we can provide players to figure out, the better chases they have, the more fun they'll have, the more strategies they can swap with teammates and friends. So that's the kind of stuff that at least I'm excited about getting to the players. Yeah, I think some of the other stuff that we're working on right now that may not look as exciting, but I'm also really excited for, and I think people are going to really appreciate when we have them, is like stronger endgame systems in the Maelstrom, like giving more stuff for players to chase and play infinitely, and be able to compare against other players and introduce a little bit more social competition so that players are pushing each other in that endgame.
Before we hopped on camera here, we were talking about possibly the idea of adding like a pet companion to the game. So could you just kind of tell us what you were talking about as far as what you might want their purpose to be if they are added?
Sure. Well, I'll say again that I'm not saying anything official here about our pets, but it's definitely something we've discussed at the studio and we're excited to do. We've talked about having pets in some form or another that could do things like resource collection for you, or like draw aggro from the behemoth. We might have different types that do different sorts of things, and you'd have to choose between them. And one of the cool things I mentioned is like just in our imaginings about them around the office, like we've seen them as different dogs and stuff like that. We've got a really cute concept with like a corgi wearing like a battle pack and stuff like that. Yeah, and so whenever we see it, we're like, yeah, that's awesome. We have to get on that. Yeah.
All right, well, thank you so much for meeting with us today. We're going to wrap it up here. This was Reid, the Behemoth designer for Dauntless. We're at PAX West 2018. Thank you.